Chris, we asked you before your first game, right? Like, what has this experience been like, being a first-time head coach in the professional ranks, but now that you're, a month or so at 2 months into the season, and you've been at it for a lot longer than that, what has this experience been like?
It's a lot of work. It's been very gratifying though, but we had to put a lot of things together really fast. And finding out like literally Christmas Eve, and then our draft was coming up, the first week of January. It was a really quick turnaround of finding coaches, getting the players, finding the right guys, after we get the players, finding, so it's been a constant uh constant, battle of trying to get things done and do the right thing for the team. A lot of problem solving that when you're named the head coach and CEO, it's kind of it was more responsibility than I even could have imagined. But I love it. I kind of really found my roots of from my dad of upbringing him, how he was a head coach and the way he handled situations. Really, it just kind of came full circle, and I've really learned a lot about myself, and just and having a ball. It's been, like I said, it's been a lot. It's been hard. The hardest thing is losing. And I don't like starting off over, but I like building, and I think that's what we're doing is building some pretty special, and think something that Louisville's going to be very proud of.
What's that process been like? Because the roster that you had in camp looks much different than the roster that you've had now, right? Like you guys have tweaked along the way to try to make this thing better.
Yeah, I'll be honest, a lot of the tweaks have been, chemistry, and sometimes finding the right chemistry is the most important things where you think would be a perfect fit isn't a good fit because it's just not the right time or not the right person or attitude or the same commitment as other people. And like to find that atmosphere that works collectively, and not just a big name, but a quality person that can work really hard every day and do the right things on and off the field is kind of what I want to portray. And I mean, this is my name that's been put on this team. And we think it's a special, and I think it's a special community and town. And obviously, I'm from there and I was born and raised there. So I'm not going anywhere. So when this thing's over, good or bad, I want to be right there. So I want to make sure that I do it right, and I put my full force behind it. And that's what we're doing. So we had a lot of changes, a lot of tough decisions from a starting quarterback, a local legend there, and a lot of linemen, a lot of things that we had to do that maybe weren't the most popular. But I think in the long run, people are starting to see it's probably the right decision and the right fit.
You have maintained pretty much the entire time after you lost your first couple of games that, hey, we kind of get this thing going. We're going to be right there in the playoff hunt. You blink and you guys are right there in the playoff hunt in your first year.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing for, a team that won, four games in the last, 2 or 3 years. We really had a big turnaround, and I think we got the right guys around. The coaching staff has been really helpful, and really a great staff that's really brought things together. Our defense is playing on a really high level, and I knew we had the talent. We're a fumble in that first Birmingham game away from being in a really good spot right now, and but. It is what it is, and obviously the overtime game with Orlando, that crazy situation, and so it's just been a wild year, but we still have opportunity there that's very serious, and if we take care of our business the next 3 weeks, we're going to be in a strong conversation, and that's all you want to do is be as relevant at the end of the year, and I think we got an opportunity to do that, but it's going to take a great effort this week. Beating a DC 2 times in a row is going to take a top effort from our guys, but we're ready for it.
In the history of my athletic career, and probably yours, you probably haven't faced the same teams back to back weeks very often. You did earlier this year. What's that like?
It's tough. It's you want to have something different, but you don't want to get away from the things that work. It's a lot of preparation on top of preparation, and it's something that you kind of think of like you play a team once during the season, maybe once in the playoff, but back to back weeks is hard. You really got to concentrate on yourself, though. For the most part, if we concentrate on what we're doing, and just executing the game plan and executing what we need to take care of, then we think the rest will take care of itself. Just got to take care of the ball, just the normal things of playing a football game. And these guys, they don't think twice. I think the coaches probably sweat it more than the players. The players are we got some good momentum. We're going to try to ride it.
I feel like, and maybe you would know this better than I, but I feel like you guys have looked the best offensively, and it's by committee, when you guys have a combined rushing total of more than 100 yards. Would you agree with that?
It's so funny you say that. That's exactly what our offense was talked about is like when we get to the 80 to 100 yard rushing, that's when this offense kind of built around the Rams type of offense. And if your running game is not on top of its game, then it's a long day. And that's we've had to find the right people and the right guy to pull the trigger, and all those things kind of go hand in hand. And we're in a system now where it's a lot of check with me at the line where we didn't do that before. So we're getting ourselves in the right play, the right numbers, and I think it's made a big difference. And our guys are really coming together. So I'm excited for the opportunity and the challenge. And we want to. The longer these guys now can just play together and get reps together, I think we could be pretty dangerous at the end of the season.
Uh, Let me ask you about Chandler. What have you seen from him since he became the guy?
I'll be honest, I see a little of myself from him, man. I saw a guy that got the crap knocked out of him in the game and got up like nothing bothered him and played his best performance. And to me, that's the ultimate way to get respect in the game of football. And I just really admire his leadership from the day he stepped foot here when he wasn't the starter, and the way he handled things off the field, on the field. He was doing his own walkthroughs in camp by himself when he wasn't even the starter with the offensive line and receivers at the hotel before the season even started. That's the kind of leadership that he brings to the table. And now he's running our offensive meetings pretty much by himself. And so like he puts the work in, and he's very accurate guy. And so just really proud of his performance and the way he handles and conducts himself. And I think it's a guy that can make Louisville very proud.
This is a question we've asked you several times, and I know you would like to put this one to bed, but you're still looking for that first home win,
Yeah,
as an organization.
sure.
Just your thoughts about how important that is to finally get that taken care of.
Yeah, I feel it's hard, when you have such a talented team, and we've been right there knocking on the door. The St. Louis game was the only one that I felt like it wasn't, they got on us pretty good. Other than that, the home games have been very exciting. I think people have an incredible experience when they show up to the game. It's not just a football game, or I think they have a great time. You're right there in the action. So it's a beautiful place to play, and all only thing's missing is a win. And so we're excited about the opportunity this weekend to bring that first win to the Louisville crowd and our organization. We got high expectations, and we're hoping that it's a monumental and weekend for everybody in the city of Louisville, and it'll be a big day if we can get that for myself as well, because I'm itching to get that first win there and Lynn family.
How has things changed for you in camp? You were trying to earn your way, right? And trying to earn opportunities. How has your mindset changed now that you are QB1?
Honestly, it's never changed. I'm a competitor, so coming into camp, I just do whatever I need to do to become the guy. And I have to earn my keep now that I am the guy. So, just doing anything to just win the team over, win my coach's trust, and just operate at a high level. That's been my mindset the whole time.
Last week was one of your all's best offensive outings of the season. I thought you were very efficient in that game. What do you feel like your role is in this offense?
My role is the leader and just make everything operate. Really, just playing, being a point guard. If anything, we have great receivers, great running backs, we have an amazing offensive line. So those are the playmakers. I can't block and snap, and I can hand the ball up to myself. Those are the playmakers. I give them the ball in space, and they make the magic happen.
When you guys run for, because it's by committee, but when you guys run for more than 100 yards, how does that change you offensively?
We're able to dictate how we want to play call. And it makes it an easy job for Coach Logan and the rest of the staff to, pick the plays and how we want to go about things. You're able to stop and you're able to run the ball. I mean, you can run it again. You can run it 3 times in a row. You're able to take shots. You go quick game. So it really puts the defense in uncomfortable situations, especially when you're playing a team that likes to blitz a lot. So they might play more coverage and play out uncharacteristic.
Let me ask you this. I just asked your head coach about you, and he said you remind him of him.
Yeah, he did.
Have you ever seen old tape of him?
I haven't. Now he's been saying like, oh, this is how I used to be. I'm gonna have to go back and watch it. I've heard the stories, and I mean, Coach Logan played against him before. He said he threw for like 596 or something like that. So I know he was slinging it around. So I definitely gotta go back and watch.
Now the fact that you are going to see a defense for a second straight week, does that make it easier in preparation or does it make it more of a challenge?
It can make it easier, but it also is a challenge. I'm gonna say why it's easier because you know what to expect. You've seen tendencies, and you can get to compare the other games that they had before to ours to see, hey, this is what they like to do, this is their tendencies, this is where they like to line up. But it also makes it a challenge because they get to see our tendencies, right? They're gonna have a game plan ready for us too. So just going into the game, I know coming out that they're gonna have something cooked and ready for us to go that we haven't seen before, probably. That's what I would expect.
What what would finally getting like do you guys feel a sense of urgency to want to get over the finish line at home and finally get a win at home?
1,000%. I mean, we've been talking about this really every single game. Like this is home. Like we have to do it for the people of Louisville. I mean, they supported us through in and throughout every game that we played there. So we want to win for them.